Good morning, beloveds. Foster's in here being a little bit of a love bug. You probably won't hear him. He doesn't have that impressive purr that Gabby does, or Rita does. So, but if you notice the camera shaking, that's probably him. So we got to do a partner workout today. And it was, that's the whole goal of having Tom go to work out with a personal trainer so that we could do that. But today he put in this block of four things that we had to do, and we were horribly bad at them, but they were so much fun. So much fun. I'm really liking this whole partner workout thing. So, okay, let us get into this. So we are almost done with March. Okay. So it is March 14th. Our title is Abundant Living. Why go through life as though it were something to be endured, as though there were not enough good or joy to go around? Are we not always limiting the possibility of love and affection, of appreciation, and of common everyday good things of life? If we really are in union with a divine source, then there should come a feeling of abundance in everything we do. An abundance of friendship, of self-expression, of everything. The abundant life contains all things, whether we call them big or little. We should sense the flow in our consciousness of the divine intelligence, a feeling that the creative imagination of the whole universe is centered in us and flowing through us. We should consciously practice this more abundant life, not necessarily for any specific thing or good we desire, but for the realization of the all good flowing through everything and everyone. Attuning our consciousness to this divine abundance, automatically we find a betterment in everything we do, a broader and deeper experience, a higher realization, and a greater good. Today, I expect a more abundant life. I am keeping my whole mind and thought and expectation open to new experiences, to happier events, to more complete self-expression. Giving out more love. I expect greater love in return. Sharing with others whatever good things I have. I expect all life to share with me the good that it possesses. Seeing beauty everywhere. I expect a revelation of still more beauty. Seeing joy in everything. I expect more laughter. More deeply sensing the divine tranquility in which all things exist, I expect a deeper consciousness of peace and security. Through it all, I feel that I am in the embrace of a warm, loving presence, forever seeking an outlet through me. And the Bible quote is, "Thou openest thy hand and satisfieth the desire of every living thing." And that is from Psalm 145:16. Okay. I always have two thoughts about abundant living. And one of them is, it's not just about stuff. It is not just about stuff. People can get caught up in the material stuff and forget that abundance is a feeling. People with a whole lot of stuff aren't happy, and people with very little stuff are very happy. Now, the reverse is true. People with very little stuff are very unhappy, and people with a lot of stuff are happy. Because it's not about the stuff, it's about the feeling. And it's about the good, and it's about the it is about the feeling, the connection, and feeling safe and feeling like you can do what you want to do. That really is where, the truth of abundance is. If you're familiar with, I believe it's Maslow's ladder. He's a psychologist. If your basic needs are taken care of, food, shelter, and safety are taken care of, then it opens you up into creativity. And so for a world that works with everyone, that's the goal, is to make sure everybody has their basic needs covered, of the food, shelter, and safety. And then everybody will have that opportunity to live an abundant life. Is everybody gonna have huge mansions? No. But does everybody want huge mansions? No. I certainly don't. That'd be more rooms for me to dust, and I don't dust to begin with. So, but that's where it starts. It's like, if your basic needs are met, then you are living an abundant life, because with your basic needs met, then you can open up to your creativity. And that's where we get into the social justice. That's where we in Science of Mind get into social justice, because we want everybody to have that abundant life, to be able to do, I'm not saying that they don't, because a lot of us want to work, but to have the basic needs met. So that's where it is. It's like, if your basic needs aren't met, I get that you're not living an abundant life. You don't feel like you're living an abundant life. But if your basic needs are met, then the abundant life is a feeling. It's a feeling. And the other thing is we've had, the last few days have been difficult. They have been difficult. The shooting in Atlanta, with, let's call it what it is. It's a hate crime. And then the shooting that happened in Boulder, Colorado. And how does that factor into an abundant life? Because these are men acting out because they don't think that they're getting what they don't think they're getting what they want. Okay? But they have forgotten the basic rule of abundance. It doesn't come from somebody else. It doesn't. That abundant feeling is your connection to the divine source, and it is your feeling. It doesn't come from someone else. Yeah. I had to say something, because we're talking about abundant life, and yet this is going on in the world. And that's why I'm talking about the basic needs. The basic needs. If the basic needs are met, then that is the first step to an abundant life. And then beyond that, it is up to your creativity and your connection with source. Yeah. That's a line we walk as ministers of. We talk about abundant life. That's what we're talking about today. That's what was in the book. And yet, just in the last few days, we've had these horrific things happen. And how do we... There is no reconciling it. And there is no explaining it. There is no... But it is about understanding what's missing and where we as a culture and a society can go to work towards things like that not happening. And we can vote. All right, I'm going to get off that soapbox. Okay, so we're going to move back into abundant living. Why go through life as though it were something to be endured? As though there were not enough joy, good or joy, to go around. A whole lot of people do live like that. And when you ask them why, they can't tell you. Or they want to connect it to stuff. And it's not. It's not about stuff. Are we not always limiting the possibility of love and affection, of appreciation, and of common everyday good things of life. And that's what I like. The common, everyday good things of life. That is what makes life worth living. The common, everyday good things of life. The birds are singing. The flowers are blooming. It's spring. The flowers are blooming. The trees are leafing out. There are people in your life. Maybe you haven't been in close contact with them, but have you been in contact with them? Have you reached out to the people in your life? Have they reached out to you? I mean, to some degree, it is our responsibility to reach out to the people that we care about, because everybody's busy and everybody, honestly, after this year, everybody's hurting. And I get that. So it's a little bit, but those things, cooking a meal together, going to work out together, going out and sitting on your front stoop and listening to the birds sing. That's where an abundant life starts. It starts with the little, common, everyday good things that are in our life that we have to pay attention to. Because if we're not seeing those, we're going to miss the big things. We're going to miss the big, beautiful things. That's one of the reasons why I chase sunrises and I chase sunsets. Because it's a magical thing that happens every day that doesn't last. I mean, the world creates this beautiful work of art that lasts and then does a completely different one the next time. And it lasts like that. That's a common everyday good thing. Listening to babies laugh, that is a common everyday good thing. If a baby laughing, and I am not a baby person, but babies laugh, there is something about that sound. If you need a uplift, Google baby laugh and listen to babies laugh. If that doesn't pick you up, you have a much more serious problem, and you may want to discuss that with a doctor. So, if we really are in union with a divine source, then there should come a feeling of abundance in everything we do. An abundance of friendship, of self-expression, of everything. It's that connection to the divine. It is that connection of knowing that we are sourced from a source that is beyond us. And it is a source that is infinite and inexhaustible. The abundant life contains all things, whether we call them big or little. And sometimes that's what it is. It's about focusing on the little things that will move us into the big. We should sense the flow into our consciousness of the divine intelligence, a feeling that the creative imagination of the whole universe is centered in us and flowing through us. That is a huge ask. But that's what spiritual practice is for. That spiritual practice, to center ourselves, to ground ourselves, to sense that divine intelligence, to sense that we're connected to something bigger than ourselves, even if it's just life. Whatever word you want to call it. We should consciously practice this more abundant life. Spiritual practice. We should consciously practice this more abundant life, not necessarily for any specific thing or good we desire, but for the realization of the all good flowing through everything and everyone. That's part of what spiritual practice is about. It's also this idea that we call pray up. It's like when things are good, you fill up. It's extra important to do your spiritual practices when things are good. It's extra important to do your spiritual practices when things are good, because you're building up your reserves. You're building up your reserves. So then when life goes a little sideways or a lot sideways, you have that reserve to fall back on. You have that automatic ingrained response that says, okay, things don't look great right now, but but I know that they can get better because they've been good before and they will be good again. And these are the things that I can do right now to see the good, to see the good. That right there, that's what makes spiritual practice so important and so beneficial. Attuning our consciousness to this divine abundance, automatically we find a betterment in everything we do. A broader and deeper experience, a higher realization, and a greater good. When we consciously look for the good, everything works better. If you're looking for something to go wrong, something goes wrong. If you're looking for something to go right, then something goes right. Why not focus on the good? Why not tune into that good? Tune into the knowing that heaven is all around us. That's what Ernest says. That quote that I use a lot, I got from him. Open the windows of your soul and feel that breath of heaven surrounding you. Because it's there. But it takes us, our willingness to open our eyes and see it. It's on us. Today, I expect a more abundant life. I am keeping my whole mind and thought and expectation open to new experiences, to happier events, to more complete self-expression. And that's what abundance is about. Expressing yourself. That divine self that you are. That bliss body that you have. Becoming more authentically you. And then you have the most abundant life possible. Giving out more love. I expect greater love in return. Love multiplies. Sharing with others whatever good things I have. I expect all life to share with me the good it possesses. That's one of the things I love. When something good happens in your life, I want to know about it. Because I want to celebrate with you. I want to celebrate good things with you. Because your happiness doesn't take anything away from me. In fact, it makes my happiness greater. And that's one of the secrets to abundance. Seeing beauty everywhere. I expect a revelation of still more beauty. Seeing joy in everything. I expect more laughter. More deeply sensing the divine tranquility in which all things exist. I expect a deeper consciousness of peace and security. Through it all, I feel that I am in the embrace of a warm, loving presence forever seeking an outlet through me. And that's what it is. Peace on earth. We find it by finding the peace in ourselves and then looking for the peace around us. It's like we don't have to teach people peace. We just have to teach people how to find the peace within themselves. They've got it. It's not a small ask. So our mission, should we choose to accept it, I think you heard it earlier, is to sense the flow into our consciousness of the divine intelligence. A feeling that the creative imagination of the whole universe is centered in us and flowing through us. And he says that several times. That warm, loving presence forever seeking an outlet through me. It's about knowing who you are. Knowing that you are a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased. Always and forever. That's the knowing. And once you know that, everything else is easy. Do we have bumps in the road? Of course we do. But we go back to that divine presence. We go back to that warm, loving presence. We go back to that divine intelligence. We pray up. We bank it. So that when we have those not preferred moments, we know we'll get through them. And we'll get through them together. So, that is abundant living. All right, beloveds. I've already used both my quotes today. So I'm going to encourage you, as I always do. Do something loving for yourself. Do something kind for yourself. Do something compassionate for yourself. Because that really is where abundant life starts. It's about knowing who you are, being kind to yourself, being compassionate, being loving. The more loving you are to yourself, the more loving you have to give to other people. That's really how it multiplies. How it multiplies. So whatever it is that you need to do to love yourself, please do it. Please take care of yourself. Because you're a godling and the world needs you. It doesn't need you to have this grand plan to save it. The world will save itself. But it needs you to be here because you are a creative outlet. No matter how big or small you think you are necessary. All right, beloveds. It is Wednesday. So there is a book study. Well, Reverend David will be on Facebook Live at 6. There's a book study, The Living of the Science of Mind at... Reverend David will be on 5. The book study's at 6. If you want that, info@creativelife.org. And then I'll be back with you at 9 a.m. If you happen to be watching this on YouTube, well, there may be a book study. You can always hit the email and see what's going on. And if you're watching this on Facebook Live, these are archived on the Running Rev Ryan YouTube channel. So feel free to, and they're organized in playlists of the month, so you can go back and find whatever month or day that you are looking for. All right? Have a wonderful day, beloveds. Drink some water.